Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokomlemle in Accra, at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including Pad FM in Damongo, Jubilee FM in Keta, and Sunshine FM in Boku. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, just a touch, UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank. Let's go. In this edition,
I don't think we're going to have a lot of changes. No one has believed in Jan more than me.
Uncertainty over whether Black Stars General Captain Asamoah Gyan will feature in lineup against Guinea-Bissau in the Africa Cup of Nations. We'll hear from the coach and speak live to our reporter. But what exactly are your predictions?
It's a win match. Whatever it is, we expect Black Stars to make a good use of mark.
The recent ones wasn't really good. My hope for them, it has become too small.
Minority in Parliament calls on President Akufo-Addo to set up an independent investigative committee to probe allegations of torture against modern Ghana journalists. The alleged arrest and torture triggers concerns about the safety of journalists. Media Foundation for West Africa records 17 attacks in 15 months. We have details. Now, family of 5-year-old girl whose hand was cut by stepmother accuses Gender Minister Cynthia Morrison of failing to fulfill her promise to take care of him.
We are pleading that we should rather be supported to take care of the child instead of keeping him out of children's home. We are not really happy.
Extra viewing centers provided by organizers of the National Science and Maths Quiz as 3 central region-based schools in Fansipim School, St. Augustine's College and Swedru SHS compete later today for a place in the quarterfinals.
There's going to be a large screen at the car park of the business school so that we can accommodate all the teaming supporters from Fansipim, St. Augustine's and Swedru.
We'll hear from some old boys of Infansipim School and St. Augustine's College who are all confident of victory.
The only thing Kwabotre has to figure out is how much money it will cost to fuel their bone shaker to take them back tonight. Plus an extra 50 cedis for meat pie at Mandisi.
We are having late lunch at 4 p.m. with Ogasco on the menu.
Wow, some bragging rights there. We have details, all that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apo. And there's uncertainty over whether Black Stars General Captain Asamoah Gyan will feature in the lineup as the team faces Guinea-Bissau later today in the Africa Cup of Nations. 2 points out of 2 games won't be enough to see the Stars through to the next stage of the ongoing AFCON if they should fail to win tonight's game against Guinea-Bissau. Yesterday, the team held their last training session ahead of the game in Suez today. Benedict Owusu is with them and came through with this report.
The Black Stars players calling on God for help in their usual Jama session after their last training session yesterday ahead of tonight's game against Guinea-Bissau. All the players trained actively with the exception of Jonathan Mensah, who was made to train alone with a physiotherapist. Christian Achu was not at the training ground, and Dan Kwikwi, media officer of the team, explained why.
Christian Achu, coach, has indicated, he did say so during the pre-match, that Christian Achu would not be available for selection in our game against Guinea-Bissau. Jonathan Mensah is 50-50. The medical team is monitoring him. We are not too sure, but we're praying that he will be fit to help play and win against Guinea-Bissau.
So it's a must-win for the team later tonight if they are to make the next stage of the competition. There will be no Kasim Nuhu due to suspension. John Boy is back after serving a match ban. If yesterday's training is anything to go by, then we should expect Richard Ofoyi in post and the Yadom at right back. Baba Aman may play ahead of Lumo Agbenyeno at left back with John Boy partnering Joseph Edu should Jonathan Mensah fail a late fitness test. Wakasu will play in midfield with Thomas Partey and Kuja Samoa, as Andre Ayew is likely to start on the left wing with Samuel Owusu on the right wing and Jordan Ayew up front as the lone striker. Benedict Owusu reporting from Suez.
And we join Benedict Owusu live on the line from Suez. So, Benedict, you've given us a gist of that lineup. Has anything changed? And the question most people are asking is, will the general captain Asamoah Gyan will be part of the starting lineup?
Well, there's been changes to the lineup that I gave you. This was after yesterday's training, but I mean the lineup that Coach Kisiakia has, as at this point as I'm speaking to you, has released is that we're going to have it for free. I got that right. You're also going to have Andy Yadam, who for me has been one of our best players in this year's competition at the right back, and then Baba Aman will maintain his position at left back with the centre back of John Boy, who has returned to the team after serving that one game suspension, and Joseph Aid, who is playing his very first game in this year's competition because of the injury to Jonathan Mensah. I mentioned that they were looking at Jonathan passing a league fitness test. He couldn't. So Joseph Aid has come in and will partner John Boy in at the centre back. Well, in midfield, we're going to have Muwak Wakasu. He is maintaining his role as the holding midfielder, and then we're going to have Andrea Yu, skipper of the team, as well as Thomas Partey as the offensive players. And remember the player who came on, Kwame Owusu, who dazzled in the game against Cameroon in the dying enders of the game. That Kwame Owusu, he is starting at the left flank, and Samuel Owusu, because Christian Achu is not around, he is playing at the right with Jordan Ayew as the main striker. You asked about Samuel Jan is on the bench, but from the look of things and what the coach said yesterday at the press conference, Jan could possibly come on in the second half.
I don't think we're going to have a lot of changes. I believe Jan, no one has believed in Jan more than me. The most important thing, we've been having training sessions, and every coach, you assess how the training goes and you choose your players for a particular game. So it depends on how he performs at training that we can all say, okay, let him start or let him come on.
Now, Benedict, you've been monitoring the situation, at least you've filed reports here and there. You've been in camp as well. Please tell me the team have been assuring you that they will win tonight's game.
Well, in fact, there is one thing that runs through in terms of everything that these players want to do. What they want to do is definitely to get a win which we see us through to the next stage of the competition. I mean, they've been preparing for this year's competition. They went to Dubai. They prepared for the game against Benin. They prepared for the game against Cameroon. But the preparations and the mindset going into this one is different because they know what is at stake. I mean, if you don't win your game, it would be very difficult for you to make the next stage of the competition. They wouldn't want to, leave our hopes or our hopes in the hands of Benin and then Cameroon, because if Cameroon is able to beat Benin, what it means is that we can still make the next stage of the competition even with a draw in this game. So everything that they are doing is towards getting us a good result, and a good result is a win which will secure us a few much more points for us to either finish top or second in this group.
Okay, and that's my colleague Benedict Owusu reporting there from Suez. Meanwhile, sports journalist Rosalind Damu says Coach Kwesi Appiah must get it right with his lineup. She spoke earlier on the AM show.
Yesterday, we also got information that Jonathan is unlikely to start because he was made to train alone. I don't think Richard Ofori will be substituted. So I don't think Kwesi Appiah would change so much the lineup. Edu is good. I think that's Edu and Boy. For me, the psychologist would have to wear a Boy because he comes in with this thing at the back of his mind that now I have to be cautious not to attract even a yellow card. So they would have to work on him so that he can give off his 100%. Okay. For me, I think that they step away from being on social media and reading what people are saying about them. Because no matter what you do, people will talk about it. But if you take it in, it affects you psychologically. So even when you are on the pitch, you're already thinking of what somebody is going to say.
Rosalinda Muda is a sports journalist, and our very own Ridwan Ibrahim Asante joins us in studio also for some pre-match analysis. Ridwan, what are we gathering? How will tonight look like?
From the team sheet, it's confirmed Kuja Samoa is not starting. 3 changes made to the last starting 11, and so John Boy returns to the team, and then he'll be partnering a new boy, Joseph Edu. He plays his football in Belgium, and he won the league title, there as well. So the boy who came on and then smashed the frame with that end of action chance, that's Kwame Owusu starts also, and then we have Samuel Owusu starting as well in the absence of injured Christian Achu. So 4 changes, I beg your pardon, 4 changes to the starting 11. Asamoah is on the bench.
So it must be a win tonight or we're out?
No.
Okay.
We can draw and then qualify as the second best team in the group.
Okay.
Because and that will be after Cameroon has defeated Benin. If Cameroon beat Benin and we draw with Guinea-Bissau, we have 3 points, and Cameroon will move to 7 points and will advance with the lowest points build up in the group stages to advance from the group to the last 16.
Thank you very much, Redwan. Of course, commentary is assured right here on Joy 99.7 FM, but we'll be engaging your expectations as well.
From them too, because the only thing we need to do for them is to show them love and then support. You shouldn't discourage them. When you do that, you are bringing down their spirit.
We will definitely win. I'm very confident about that they are going to qualify. At least 2-0 will do. I'm predicting the day you will score a goal, and then maybe Kojo Asamoah or Thomas Partey will also score.
It's a win match, whatever it is. We expect Blaster to make a good use of mark and then make a good goals for us to be able to make it.
The recent ones wasn't really good. Kind of like they just went there to play or something. My hope for them there, it has become too small because the way I had morale for them, it has really reduced, seriously.
Expecting 2 goals from the DIU and the brother.
I know Ghana will play well. If you will score about 2 goals, it shall be okay for us.
Definitely, we shall be okay for us. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's move on to some other stories now, because the minority in Parliament is calling on President Akufo-Addo to set up an independent investigative committee to look into allegations of torture against modern Ghana journalists. Ranking member on the Defence and Interior Committee, James Agalga, says the National Security Minister needs to be investigated over the claim despite his denial. He says the committee will soon begin its own inquiry on the issue, but warns attacks on journalists are a threat to the country's democracy.
I think it's a sad day for Ghana's democracy. Journalists have been in the news for quite some time. I mean, they have been subject to abuse and attack. Even in some cases, the lives of journalists have been cut short in this country under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the man who in times past was touted as the champion of human rights. Today, all these abuses are happening under his watch, and the man is not even speaking to the issues. That is what is most shocking and amazing. I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, that all these things are happening and the president will not find time, he will not stop globe-trotting and address these major security concerns. Journalists have had to go into exile. Journalists have had to go into hiding. Some fled from their base in this country, and I'm talking about Mr. Adeti. Adeti had to flee literally from Bolga for his dear life. His home was ransacked, all because he exposed corruption in the government of President Akufo-Addo. Now is the turn of modern Ghana, an online portal. They have been attacked. Now what is even worrying is that they are alleging that they have been tortured.
And national security is denying it. What should the approach be like?
That issue should be investigated by an independent body.
Ranking member on the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament, James Agalga there. Now, in a statement, the National Security denied the allegations of torture, describing it as a fabrication. Now, according to National Security, the 2 journalists are expected to be put before court today, although the journalists say they've not been directed to show up in any court. Joseph Akablay is our court correspondent and joins us live on the line. So, Joseph, what's the case called?
So far, we've run our checks at the notice boards here at the Supreme Court premises, because the indication had been that they were going to be charged before a circuit court. We have checked the notice boards. No such case with the name of the individuals involved has been listed. We've again checked with our sources at the registry of the courts, and we understand that no such case, as I speak to you now, has been filed with the name of these individuals involved. But that is not a bit of a strange practice. There have been instances and cases that have not been filed early enough, but still they've been heard within that same day. So we are still stationed here at the registry, waiting. Once such a case is filed, we'll quickly get to know which court has been assigned to and go to that particular court. But as I speak to you now, no such cases before the courts.
Courts correspondent there, Joseph Akablay. Now, meanwhile, the Media Foundation for West Africa has described as embarrassing allegations the modern Ghana journalists were arrested, detained and tortured by national security operatives. The executive director, Suleiman Brahima.
It must be embarrassing for the government for this to have happened. I can't contemplate what would justify the nature in which we've heard these people were picked up and now we are hearing that they were tortured. It's something that is deeply embarrassing for our country. The government must immediately take steps to ensure that, yes, if these people have committed any offense, they are handled in accordance with the law. The folks should be handled in accordance with the law. Their rights must be respected. I don't think here in Ghana we should get to the point where journalists can be picked up and tortured by national security.
You have the Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Abrahima. Now, let's stay a while longer on this because the opposition NDC has just released a statement condemning the incident and is demanding the dismissal of the National Security Minister. My colleague Raymond Akwa joins me with details. What more does the statement say, Raymond?
So it says that the attacks comes at a time our nation is witnessing an upsurge in repeated and consistent attacks on journalists in the line of duty. Of course, it insists that this is a sad narrative today, that the once revered national security of Ghana has now become a political tool for terrorizing journalists and political opponents. They proceed to say that the attack on press freedom, free speech, and the creeping culture of silence that we are witnessing under President Akufo-Addo are a natural combination of our collective silence over one too many attacks on journalists which have gone unpunished in recent times. They say to remain silent is to allow evil to thrive. To keep mute over these happenings is to encourage the sinister art. They made reference to Ahmed Swale Hussein and also made reference to the conduct of NPP MP for Asin South in the person of Kennedy Japan, and also says that the likes of Manasseh Azuri and also Edward Adeti have all suffered similar fate, which makes it very clear that they are not safe in this environment. And they proceed to say the time has come to say enough is enough. The time is now for Ghanaian people to bear our teeth at the Akufo-Addo government and send a clear message to this regime that Ghana's democracy and our freedom of speech were won at a price and not gifted to us on a silver platter.
Now, stay with me, Raymond, because you also have a list of journalists attacked in the last 15 months. The Media Foundation for West Africa compiled that list and it puts it at 17. Walk us through these attacks.
Let's start first and foremost with the number one on that particular list. That is our very own Latif Idris. They make reference to the dastardly attack on him at the police headquarters, saying that the police led this particular exercise and up to now nobody has been held responsible for it. They moved on to also talk about Kotoko Express reporter by name Gideon Bocho, who's in February 2017 was attacked. In March on that same year, 2017, another photojournalist was actually expelled from the stadium and attacked. His name is Adadivo Senujom. And there's also one other person that was attacked related to football engagements. This is another photojournalist, which they make reference to as one belonging to Hearts News. His name is Daniel Anane Boachi Yadom. Let's move on to another person that they say was attacked within the same space, Kendrick Ofer. He was attacked during the Ghana 60th anniversary celebration at the Independence Square, this time around by military officers. And also they mentioned a certain journalist by the name Isaac Insia. He is with Otek FM in Kumasi, and it says that he was also attacked as a construction site when he was doing his duties as a journalist. Now, they make reference to a TV3 crew that were also attacked, one involving Soa, Richmond, and Peter. And again, we cannot forget about the likes of Parker and also the Ghanaian Times journalists. Three of them were attacked. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Raymond Akwa there. Now, a family of 5-year-old boy whose hand was cut by his stepmother is accusing the gender minister, Cynthia Morrison, of failing to fulfill her promise to take care of the child. According to them, the gender minister promised to send the boy to a school she owns at Aguna Swedro, where she will take care of him till he completes his secondary education. But the family claims the boy is at the Osu Children's Home. The family is asking the minister to return the boy to them to care for him if she won't fulfill her promise. Richard Kujonyako has been following up on the issue and has more in the following report.
The screams are that of 5-year-old Kofi, whose left hand was cut by his stepmother months ago. His screams and predicament pricked the conscience of many. In the midst of all that, Gender Minister Cynthia Morrison intervened.
I run a school. So for Kofi, he's Kofi and I am Ifwa. After the hospital, after he's been discharged, and we know that he's going to have education that is going to be sponsored by me, not by the ministry, by me. Any other monies that comes in, I would make sure that we have a fixed account for him where nobody will touch that money, so that that money would be generated for his future. But when he has that fixed account there, then it will continue his education, because I can't guarantee after he's left secondary school.
The assurances by the gender minister to take care of Kofi, whose left hand has been amputated now, gave many hope. A few months after the promise, Kofi is neither at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital nor at Swedru, where the minister promised to take him to and to care for him until he completes his secondary education. So where exactly is Kofi?
So we are here at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital following up on the boy whose stepmother cuts the left hand. We are told that the gender minister has come in and has taken the boy away. We followed up and the boy is at the Osu Children's Home.
The family of the little boy is not happy with the development. Grandmother of Kofi, Victoria Mensah, who has been involved right after the incident happened, wants the child to be given back to them if the minister cannot go by her word to take care of the child.
Minister, no. Okase ngoba befa Kofi na wahwe no. Oremeko Swedru. Na wakoshe no.
The minister says she will take care of Kofi. Her words were clear enough that she would take him to Swedru and see him through school. But now Kofi finds himself in the children's home. I followed up when she came to pick the child. The child was taken to the children's home. In fact, later when I visited, I was displeased. We are pleading that we should rather be supported to take care of the child instead of keeping him at the children's home. We are not really happy. Kofi's uncle, Enoch Mensah, who has also paid Kofi a visit at the children's home, says there is no way the child can be allowed to stay at the children's home. We want government to help us. We don't think this is what the minister promised. We are not happy with where the child is. When Joy News made enquiries from the gender minister, she indicated the child was with her and sent photos of her and Kofi via WhatsApp to back her claim. Further checks with the Central Regional Social Welfare Directorate indicates the social welfare was making moves to open a trust account from donations made by the public to Kofi. Meanwhile, the 3D prosthesis promised is yet to be fixed on Kofi's hand. Richard Kwejunyakon, Joy News, Cape Coast.
I must add that the gender minister, Cynthia Morrison, had agreed to speak to us here on the Midday News, but as we speak, we are unable to get her. But as and when we do, we'll get her response to this particular issue. Now, government may not ban plastics entirely. That's according to the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. There have been growing calls by some Ghanaians and pressure groups for government to ban the use of plastics due to what they say is its adverse effects to the environment and health of the people. But stakeholders in the plastic industry have warned of the economic consequence of such a decision. Speaking at the Meet the Press series in Accra today, Professor Boateng says a resource recovery centre at Council for Industrial Research is working on the plastic waste policy.
We are going to do segregation at source, collect the plastics, and then take them to recycling centres. And now we have a lot of companies, private ones, that are engaged in recycling. The big ones, you know, Zoomlion, there are smaller ones, Nerplast, that is converting plastics into pavement stones. So these are all initiatives and they are creating employment. So we may start by banning bigger things, plastic bags, things that may not need, for example, chewing gum, plastic cutlery, straw, and so on. And these are things that we can think through and ban. But certainly we cannot ban plastic bags that are used in blood donation, can't use plastic green linings that are used in the hospitals and elsewhere. So when we are talking about a ban, let's look through the life cycle of plastic, what they are used for, before we can take a decision.
My colleague Ernest Menu is at the Meet the Press series and joins us on the line. Now, Ernest, he also gave an indication of what the scientists at the CSIR will consider in drafting the plastic waste policy. Tell us a bit about it.
All right, so MFR, he mentioned 5 areas, and he talked about behavioral change as one of those areas. He also did talk about cross-sectoral collaboration, and then the economy, which is really at the heart of this issue, the jobs that this could create, and then resource mobilization, as well as the governance of plastic waste. And so these are the 5 major areas that the scientists will be considering in drafting the policy.
Now, Ernest, the minister make any reference to the Galamsey fight as we speak? We know there have been issues with the Interministerial Committee and the task force. Did he say anything to that effect?
No, nothing of the sort came out today. In fact, I asked a question to that effect, but I didn't get any response. He told me that today is not a day for Interministerial Committee manning or the fight against Galamsey whatsoever. We can set another day for that.
My colleague there, Ernest Menu, reporting from the Information Ministry. Still to come here on the Midday News, extra viewing centres provided by organisers of the National Science and Maths Quiz as 3 Central Region-based schools in Fansipim School, St. Augustine's College and Swedru SHS compete later today for a place in the quarterfinals. We'll also hear from some old boys of Infansipim School and St. Augustine's College who are all confident of victory.
The only thing Kwaboche has to figure out is how much money it will cost to fuel their bone shaker to take them back tonight. Plus an extra 50 cedis for meat pie at Markesim.
We are having late lunch at 4 p.m. When Ogasco on the menu.
My name is Kwame Sefakai, and most of you know me as a media personality, but I am also a family man. The UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, saves me so much time by letting me do almost all of my banking transactions on my phone. The cardless withdrawal feature allows me to withdraw cash from any UMB ATM without an ATM card. I can also pay bills, transfer money, request for a loan, invest money, and so much more. So now, I can spend less time at the bank and more time with the ones I love. Bank anywhere and anytime with a UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, and get the time to do what you love most. Download the UMB Speed App from your Android, iOS, or Windows phone today. Call 0302-633-988 for more information. UMB Speed App, Digibank, let's go!
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Now let's talk about another competition that we're all looking forward to. Programs coordinator of the National Science and Maths Quiz, Stephen Yankee, says all is set for the contest between 3 Central Region-based second cycle institutions in Fansipim School, St. Augustine's College and Swedru SHS in anticipation of the mammoth support from the Boche and Ogasco boys. He says they are creating additional viewing centres on the University of Ghana campus to accommodate all students. He spoke to Masola Gbagba.
Clearly, there will be a big crowd here this afternoon for the contest between Infansipim School, St. Augustine's College and Swedru Senior High School. In preparation for that, we have provided extra viewing centers. There's going to be a large screen at the car park of the business school so that we can accommodate all the teaming supporters from Infansipim, St. Augustine's and Swedru. The contest will be a big one. It can go either way. It can be a day for Infansipim, St. Augustine's, and I also not underrate the team from Swedru. They might even upset both schools.
To Maxwell Agbagba, and you can hear the excitement in the background already. Maxwell, the 10 a.m. contest has ended. What are the results?
Well, at the end of the contest, Adan SHS had 25 points. KDB Asato had 25 points. Tamale SHS had 30 points. There was no clear winner until the final round. Tamale SHS proved their mettle by winning the contest.
Now, that's the excitement, and we are expecting that the 4 p.m. contest is also coming up in Fansipim School, St. Augustine's College and Swedru SHS. Some old students of the competing schools at Joy News and the Multimedia Group Limited have been sharing the expectations ahead of the contest.
St. Augustine's College, we have won with the highest score, 76. That's Kwaboche people, how many?
It was because of Swedru Senior High School. Then they didn't do National Science and Maths Quiz last year with Ogasco involved. And so, for you to deign to think that today, it is going to be some sort of competition between Ogasco and the fans.
But exactly that's what is going to happen.
I don't understand. No, because it has been a lunch time from fans, maybe.
Could they share this
when Ogasco on the menu?
I take the pleasure in reminding Kwaboche that the fact that they have got to the point where they can compete with a school of the caliber and quality of Swedru Secondary School should not make them feel that they have achieved anything. We came to win.
Let me make this clear. Let me match him.
No. Hannah, you have a question.
The only thing Kwaboche has to figure out is how much money it will cost to fuel their bone shaker to take them back tonight. Plus an extra 50 cedis for meat pie at Markesim.
Much as you don't want to think about defeat, should you not win today?
should we not win today, the entire world would have come to an end.
Only one of us in this room
We'll win.
will win.
And should you lose?
I am not losing.
Ogasco.
I just want to once again congratulate Swedru Secondary School for coming second, but of course St. Augustine's is winning.
Hey. Well, people really have the bragging rights. But the competition will be live on the Joy News channel at 4 p.m. Live on the Joy News channel or Multi TV at 4 p.m. And people are talking about the Black Stars on social media maps.
This one is from Evan Adams, who says we can win the match if Onijan starts for the match today. And I'm praying that Kwesi Appiah will get a red card so that the players can have enough freedom on the pitch. Brian Jeremiah says, I'm 100% convinced that the Black Stars will win this match. The trophy is ours this year. I wish them a win and nothing else. Stelina Okran says, hey, this calculator game. And Alex Watcher says, another draw game. And Karim Naji is just waiting. And our sports team will bring that here in the studio.
Joy 99.7 FM is also at 4 p.m. And that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am MFA Apo. No matter how it goes, we're still supporting the Black Stars. Have a good afternoon.